Hi, I'm Randy Vance. I'm the director of BoatingLAB, and today we're testing something I don't think any boater should leave the dock without, and that is a multi-tool. Multi-tools have pliers, knives, screwdrivers, everything you might need to get you out of a pinch when you're on the water. And we'd like to walk you through some of the coolest ones we've found and take a look at some of the features we like. Now, a lot of people like to use as standard for judging the sharpness of a blade how well it can slice through a sheet of paper. We don't really think that's very practical information, but it actually could show a very sharp knife. What we're going to do is use that for the standard for sharpness, and then after we've done a number of tasks with our knives, we're going to come back and check it and see if it can do that again. As expected, our knives were still pretty sharp after cutting rope. So we decided cutting more rope was in order. Well, as you can see, we've cut a lot of rope. So now, let's go back to our paper cutting test. This was one of our sharper knives. That is still sharp. Nothing wrong with that edge. Check this one out. The sog, still sharp. Let's try the Gerber. And the Gerber is still sharp. In fact, each one of our knives came through the extensive cutting test undulled. So with that test concluded, we were curious to see, even though there was no extremely detectable difference in sharpness, maybe a few more snags in the paper, but you could still see we sliced it cleanly. We're going to use this sharpening system to take a few strokes on each blade and see if we can improve the edge. Each one of our test knives held their edge so well they showed no improvement from the honing test. With the sharpness test giving us no clear winner, and the sharpening test showing that our blades held their edge and we couldn't improve on them with the fine application of a honing stone, let's move on to one of the other tool tests that I had in mind. I wanted to see how effective these were at screwing in Phillips screws. So we set 8 Phillips screws in a board just with a nail set and put them in finger tight. The goal is to see how handy this tool would be to run these 3/4 inch screws all the way up to the head. And that's going to be pretty hard to beat. We felt like we got a better fit on our screw head from the Swiss Army knife. We also did very well on the Gerber tool, and the ergonomics of the industrial MP1 was really nice. We were also pleasantly surprised to find out how well the flat bits on the Leatherman tools worked. The compound plier gearing in the SOG tool that we liked so well turned out to be a disadvantage when we were using the screwdriver because the gearing system gave a very rough handle and a tough touch on the palm, making it difficult to hold the appropriate pressure on the screw. For those tools that had them, we tested the wire cutters next. The SOG gave us the cleanest, crispest cut of all the tools. The Gerbers cut well too. Leatherman's cut well, but the trick is to keep the wire forward of the stripper behind the cutter. The Swiss Tool Spirit Plus disappointed us, not cleanly severing the stranded wire. The Gerber tool was one of the better wire strippers. You see when you put the wire clear back in the back end of the jaw, pinch it, and then pull it, you get a pretty clean and nick-free strip. Wire strippers that amounted only to a notch in the blade just weren't that handy. Put that back there in the crimper in the back. Now, according to SOG, Special Ops Group, these are for blasting caps, but I can't figure a boater using them unless maybe he's doing a little illicit fishing. So how do we do? Now that was an easy crimp and a solid crimp. Some of the tools we didn't expect to find useful, but we're surprised at how much we thought we'd like them. A strap hook is an awesome survival tool and a rescue tool. Works to get someone out of their life jacket or a seat belt very quickly. We also found the scissors very handy, ideal for trimming a bandage or grooming. Scissors like those on the Swiss tool come in very handy for clipping braided line, which is almost so difficult to cut with any other tool. The Leatherman scissors worked very well for this as well. Well, after doing extensive testing on our multi-tools, one of the things that I figured out is that the only way you can go wrong is if you don't put one in your pocket or on your belt when you go out in the boat. Now, one thing I did learn to like in this test was a longer blade cuts rope better. You get a longer bite on the stroke, and that makes cutting it easier. I also like the fact that every one of our knives had a blade lock. Now, if you're working around an inflatable boat, or you have a more compact area to work, this shorter blade with the blunt tip is going to be better. It's going to give you less of an opportunity to puncture an inflatable tube. But now that the work is done, I'm going to use my favorite tool, the bottle opener. I'm Randy Vance, this is BoatingLAB, and this is our multi-tool test. You can see the full results of our tests at BoatingLAB.com.